Hello, everyone, and welcome to live lesson for Wednesday, March the 7th. I am going to dive into Unit 4 today, and I'm just going to give you a brief kind of synopsis and some clarification in regards to the expectation for our Unit 4, which is our creative poetry um, unit. So it's actually one of our shortest units, and it's designed that way on purpose. We're sort of heavy on, or we're just kind of coming from being heavy on sort of the technical writing. We've gone from sort of our persuasive essay writing to our migrant reports. So, like I said, pretty heavy in regards to some research and incorporating proper structure. So we kind of break from that and we go into our creative writing or creative portion of the course, which I have always found students do really, really, really well with. We bring in some choices for you in regards to what you want to focus on. Particularly music is what we like to focus on, as music connects to everybody and we all have our own personal relationships with that. So like I said, it's a very short unit. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to switch my screen. One second. There we go. Hang on. There we go. So here we are in Unit 4, which is Lesson 17, The Power of Poetry, Poetic Structure, and Devices. And of course, we have our learning goals and our success criteria as always. And then we dive right into poetic and literary devices. So I don't know if you're familiar with Dead Poet Society, the movie. An English teacher, John Keating, who's played by Robin Williams, shares thoughts with his students on why we read and write poetry. Probably still one of my favorite movies to this day, and it's Robin Williams, so I mean, how can we not love him? But again, it's just this concept of creative expression and using language as a means to do so, and how poetic and beautiful it can be. So have a quick watch of that clip, and then we sort of go into the concept of what are literary and poetic devices and how they can be used to create something authentic as well as effective in specific structure and in creating imagery as well. A little video in terms of figurative language and popular music. I thought this is really cool. I think you guys will especially enjoy it. See how modern day musical performers incorporate poetic devices into their songs, basically modern day poetry. I think once you actually become aware of poetic devices, you are going to be pretty stunned how common and effective poetic devices are within media, within music, and you're going to be able to identify them. And I think that you'll start to really appreciate it as you do. Please bypass the quiz. I know they're incorporated within our course, but I've always sort of recommended bypassing them because you guys have enough going on in terms of marks, so they're not something that I take into account for this course, but they are there in case of future use. But please bypass your quiz. Our pre-writing activity. So we talk about going, let's just say, from music, and then we sort of start to analyze textual speak or excuse me, speech. Now, Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream. We are all quite familiar. I mean, even if you've never heard the whole thing, it is a little long. But in terms of how we could dissect the concept of literary devices within it. And this is because this video was kind of a model or exemplar of that assessment you will have to complete in general. So make sure you have a quick look at that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start a discussion thread where you're going to practice finding and analyzing those poetic devices. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose one song or poem from the list below. You're going to label two different poetic devices and explain how these devices serve to emphasize the overall meaning. And again, this is where we also build on our skills in understanding theme, which we've come right from our novel analysis and sort of this idea of what is the overall message or teaching within this piece. And of course, we always respond to our classmates and provide that critical feedback as well. And this is where you're going to enter that discussion forum. Now, the second part to this is actually analyzing poetry, and this is your screencast video assignment. So, you're going to create a screencast video where you can explain your analysis of your poem of your choice. This is just a little synopsis in terms of how to use screencast. And what here is what you're going to identify. So again, we're going to identify theme. You're going to label and explain 8 examples of poetic and literary devices, at least 5 different types. So the idea of repetition, right? So sometimes you're going to see simile used more than once. So yes, it could be used more than once, but you do definitely have to have 5 different types so that I know you have a solid understanding of the variety of literary devices that can be used. And then you're going to discuss how each poetic and literary device serves to emphasize, again, we go back to that overall theme. And understanding theme is just so critical, it's so vital. It demonstrates your ability to synthesize, read something, break it down, and come away with not necessarily what is being explicitly stated, but what you're taking from it and what is in fact implied. Now, it's also very possible that two people read the same story, watch the same movie, listen to the same song and walk away with two completely different themes. And that's okay. That's part of the beauty of sort of the creative expression is that people connect and relate differently depending. So don't think if your theme is different than, let's say, somebody else's theme, it doesn't mean that either one of you is wrong. I mean, you come to the table with your own perspectives and experiences, and they connect with you differently. It's all based on how you support your perspective or your findings. And then, of course, you're going to submit that video right here. Oh, 1 second. I believe we have someone. Hi, Jordan. Can you hear me? You can type on the right-hand side of your screen because I can't see you. And I'm just in the middle of live lesson. So can you hear me? And I'm going to continue with the lesson as we go, and we will chat with Jordan as well. So that's our first part of our poetry unit that you're going to complete, hopefully by the end of this week. And as I stated in my agenda for today, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Go back to our screen. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Perfect. Hi, Jordan. Okay, so I'm just going to go back here for a quick sec. Okay, so in terms of breaking down the first aspect of Unit 4, I'm hoping that provides a bit more clarity. And as like I said, explained in my agenda video this morning, there's going to be some things that I have to make do at the end of March break. And if people want to work ahead, you're more than welcome to do so. I do apologize for that. It was not on purpose. We just 6 weeks and I lost a week of March break, and as well as the Family Day holiday pushed back another due date, which kind of dominoed amongst other assignments as well. So for that, I do apologize. But we are almost done. And then as soon as we get back, I'm going to release your collimating task, your final task for that week. And then that is what you will focus on until the Friday, which is our last day of the course. And then you'll complete your sort of online final assessment, kind of like an exam. It's more of a reflective piece that will be released that day, and then you'll have a specific time frame to complete, and then you hand it in as well. So hopefully that provided a little bit more clarification in regards to Unit 4, the beginning, and then I'll be around and available to answer any questions via email throughout the break as well. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. I'm going to stop recording and then hang out for a bit should anybody else pop in and have any questions, and I will post this video, of course, to our homepage like usual. So if I don't talk to you guys again before, have an amazing holiday, and we'll talk soon.